Hi guys, welcome to Twin Perspective. I'm Joe, and tonight I'm going to be breaking down Black Mirror Season 5, Episode 2, entitled Smithereens. Now, I'll give a basic general how I felt about it, and then I'll let you know when I'm going to kick in with the spoilers. Okay, so I've seen all 3 episodes of this season, and to me, Episode 2, Smithereens, was by far the worst. I guess it is a reflection of how we in society act with a lot of the technology we have now, but there wasn't really anything futuristic about it. And so, dealing with technology, yes, but some of the darker, more broader, existential, as if it's about to happen around the corner kind of implications, no. Interesting story nonetheless. The acting was really good, the direction was good, the writing was very good. Overall, I thought it moved kind of slow, and absolutely hated the ending. So that's where I stand on it from a general point of view. And now I'm going to kick in with the spoilers. Smithereens stars Andrew Scott. He plays a character named Chris. Chris is like an Uber driver. In the show they call it Hitcher, I think. So he's an Uber driver. And he's waiting outside of a building. It's the Smithereen building, and that is basically Facebook, some other social media giant. And he's got his car parked there, so if anybody needs a Uber lift or a Hitcher lift, he'll be the first one to respond because he's right there. Basically, he's trying to pick up somebody who works in this building. Now, his demeanor is messed up from the beginning, and slowly but surely they reveal what happened to him in his past and why he's acting the way he is. But you don't get there for a while. As a matter of fact, all you get is this pouting guy for the first fourth to a third of the show, and it's how it felt to me. And although he's a really good actor, I couldn't tell at first. Now this is what I mean by it. You know somebody, and you can tell something's bothering them, but they won't tell you what's bothering them. So after a while, you're just huffing and puffing and moping and looking like that, and I'm just not going to want to be around you. Now that's the way I am with movies. Sometimes movies work where I don't know why someone's acting the way they do, and eventually I find out. Maybe upon a second watch, I can sympathize with the character before the revelation happens, even more so if it's all put together in that way. Smithereens, at this point, this guy was just looking weird. He went to was like a meeting. It's kind of like AA, but basically it's like grief counseling. He was there along with a group of people, and there was a woman talking, and she was talking about losing her daughter. Her daughter committed suicide, and it was a long time ago. And so after the meeting, this guy, his name's Chris. Chris ends up hooking up with this woman at her house, and it's just a one-night flinger kind of thing. She talks about how it's been a while. And when they're done, she says she's going to try to get into her daughter's Persona account. And I guess Persona is another one of those huge social media companies, kind of like, whatever, Twitter. So the mom is trying to get into the dead daughter's account. It's set up where she can only try 3 passwords, and then after that, they block you from trying to access the account for a whole 24 hours. So every day, and she has a list of potential passwords. She's trying to figure out how to get into her daughter's account. She thinks that whatever her daughter was writing about in these social media accounts will give her mother an explanation of why she killed herself. Okay, so Chris is once again outside the Smithereen building. This time, a guy gets into his car and he says he does work in the Smithereen building, and he's dressed in a nice suit. The actor's name is Damson Idris. His character's name is Jaden. So Chris has Jaden from Smithereen in his car, so he decides to drive off to some tunnel somewhere, and he starts to hold this guy at gunpoint. He finds out that the guy is not well-to-do, up-to-do member of Smithereens. This guy's an intern. He's just dressed nice because it's his first week. And this is when Chris gets pissed off, and Chris actually decides to show some other emotion besides this moping around thing. It was actually the monologue that Chris gives at this point when he realizes he's kidnapped somebody that's worthless. It's the first time I even realized this guy could act. It was a great scene, though. You know, it was a great line. His delivery was great. I was like, where's this guy? Where has this guy been the whole time? Because I could groove on this. At least he's amusing, you know, instead of just moping. So eventually, it takes forever, but eventually, you know, the cops surround him. He's in a field. He's in his car. Chris is in his car. He's got Jaden at gunpoint. The cops aren't going to approach the car because they know he has a hostage and he has a weapon. And this guy's one demand is that he wants to talk to the CEO of Smithereen. And that character's name is Billy Bauer. And it's played by Topher Grace. So the rest of the episode is basically the reflection of how things are in today's social media technological state. There's nothing futuristic about it. The irony is this mother's trying to figure out why her daughter killed herself, and she can't access the information at all. Meanwhile, the police are trying to figure out who this kidnapper is. This guy holding the man hostage, who he is. So they're using their means through computers and stuff. Then you got the FBI, and they're involved, and then we've got the actual Smithereen company, who's supposed to be trying to get Billy Bauer on the line, so Billy Bauer, the CEO, can talk to what's his name, Chris. That's Chris's demand. And what happens is the people at Smithereen find out more about this guy who's holding the hostage. They find out more about him and faster than the cops do. And I guess that's the juxtaposition. A grieving mother can't figure anything out. The cops can't figure it out as fast as damn Facebook. And so Facebook knows everything you do, and they got more information. That's the implication. Okay. Eventually, you find out that Chris's family, his fiance died. It was a car wreck. She was in the car with him. She fell asleep. He got bored. He started looking at his Smithereen on the phone. He looks up from the phone, and bam, car wreck. Come to find out, the other driver, who also died in the wreck, that driver was drunk. So the authorities always believed it was the drunk. Chris never mentioned he was on the phone at the time he was driving. And so that's his big grievance. At this point, Chris wants to kill himself, but he wants to talk to this CEO first. Ironically, the entire company is trying to figure out how to do anything except put this guy, Billy Bauer, on the phone. So basically, the CEO of Smithereen is not to be trusted in the public, which, you know, between Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and all this other stuff, you know, I get the gist of it. Didn't feel like Black Mirror to me because it wasn't futuristic. An interesting little drama nonetheless. Finally, the CEO, played by Topher Grace, gets on the phone. He wants to do the right thing. You can tell he's a good guy. He starts to try to listen to talking points and what the corporation's telling him to do, but eventually he makes up his mind he's just going to talk to this guy like a real person. And all Chris really wants to do is admit to what happened. And he wants the CEO to admit that they make it addictive. Like, I guess this is supposed to make Chris feel better. The impression I got was Chris really didn't know what he wanted to say. He just wanted to bitch at the CEO. He wanted to blame somebody else besides himself. And when he tells the story of what happened to his fiance and him in the car wreck and the drunk to the CEO, and I'm hearing it, the first thing I said was, if I'm the CEO, the first thing I'm telling him is, you don't know that you caused that wreck. This guy was drunk. You could have had your phone in your pocket, not even looking at it, and this drunk could have hit you. You were looking at your phone, you looked up, it was a car wreck. I didn't see enough evidence to say that it really was your fault, being that this guy was drunk. And drunks actually cause car accidents. Of course, the CEO didn't say anything like that. You know, I'm always wanting things in shows that never happen. That's okay, you know, I guess. I could put up with it. Eventually, you think perhaps the CEO has convinced Chris not to kill himself. He's willing to do anything. You just name it, Chris, and I'll do it for you. And then Chris has an epiphany. He thinks of the mother at the meeting. And so he asks the CEO if he knows the owner of Persona. And Chris says, yeah, I know him. We go back. So that's the favor Chris asks for. Please contact him. Please let him allow this dead girl's mother to access her account. So sure enough, CEO of Persona, or the owner of Persona, sends a letter to the woman, and it has the password on it. The password was the serial number of a boat. There's a picture right next to the computer of the mother and the daughter on a boat, and it's the number that's on the side of the boat. That's the password. So it was there the whole time. Those are the implications, I guess, from this episode. It's kind of neat, but at the same time, it's not futuristic, and it's really just overall frustrating. What seals the deal for me as this being the worst episode is the whole time, if a sniper at the scene can get a clean shot on Chris in the car, he's supposed to take it. You almost feel like Chris has decided he's not going to kill himself. As a matter of fact, Chris and Hayden become friendly at the end. They share things. That's another, dynamic to the show. And Hayden knows he's going to be released. And Chris tells him to go ahead and go. And then the sniper gets a clean shot and kills him. And then the mother is able to access the daughter's Persona account, but we never see, we never get any information on why her daughter might have killed herself. So overall, it just kind of left me hanging. I felt like, this really didn't sew anything up. These hostage type movies don't really do it for me all that much. Kind of like phone booth to me, where you're just stuck in a place, and the drama can be there. It's not that the writing was bad or the direction. Aesthetically, it's good to look at. Just very frustrating. A lot of Black Mirror episodes can be frustrating, and they do end, with a negative twist, but I almost find humor in most of it. This one was, perhaps too real because it was too close to the real time. I mean, there was nothing at all really in the episode that was futuristic. This was all just dealing with stuff today. So that's it. That's my review of it. My least favorite of the season. Thanks for watching anyway. This has been Twin Perspective. I'm Joe. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos like this. We cover movies, TV, music, news, politics. Go to playlists. You can find what you're looking for with ease. And I will see you in the trees. Bye.